can be interesting. Are you EMF sensitive that you're aware of?
My grandma is. She can't wear a watch.
Mhm.
I think I am a little bit.
Yeah.
I had an MP3 player that shut it out if I held it for too long.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I had someone in the other day and I said, oh, do you destroy watches then? She said, yes, I can't wear them. Okay, so in relation to EMFs, and hold, yeah, hold. Okay, so these were all good at the beginning. So EMFs attract histamines and vice versa. So when your EMFs are overloaded in your system or your immune system isn't recognising it, and then it's just creating like a big survival pattern. So let's also check your celestial circuit again in relation to EMFs, since it's blown all the other survival. And hold. Okay. Yeah, right. Energetically, your aura wants to jump to the right when you're around lots of EMFs. So it's almost like you'll feel beside yourself when there's too many EMFs. Sometimes it's a good idea to look outside our bedroom window or our kitchen and see whether we can see any power lines or telephone, what do you call them? The telephone signalling towers. Because if we can see them from our bedroom, as a general rule at night time when everyone's got their phones at home, we're often getting 4 to 5 times the amount of EMF signalling at night time that we do during the day when everyone's off at work, which can really mess with sleep, it can mess with pain. In Australia, a lot of people have got the solar panels on the roofs. Apparently the converters are really challenging for people with EMF sensitivities. Something about the conversion of AC to DC, I think it is. It could be the other way around, but I think it's AC to DC. There's something about that dirty electricity that really messes with people. Yeah, I don't know whether you're into crystals and things, but things like crystals can help to, some crystals can help to protect you from EMFs. They have to be pretty solid and the right ones, because some will actually accentuate what's going on in your body. So you need to do some research and make sure you buy the right ones. And hold, beautiful. EMFs, so EMFs blew your celestial circuit and survival, deep survival, hidden deep survival. So that's fairly major that it's messing with all of those. And let's go have a quick look at your survival patterns. Actually, let me just ask the body. Since EMF and histamines are connected to each other, can I stack in histamines as part of this survival pattern? I can. So then we'll be doing a survival pattern for both simultaneously because they're just so interlinked in the body. So overall histamines, and hold, 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 hold. So you can get supplements that help to release diamine oxidase, which is the enzyme we need to release histamines from the body. But even things like digestive enzymes after meals are a good idea. helps to break down the proteins in your meals, so you're less likely to have allergies and allergic responses, and even all your chemical sensitivities and everything. Very much linked in with the receptors on the cell walls just being chock-a-block, and your poor little organs of elimination, your lungs, your liver, your kidneys, your immune system, your gut, just being overloaded. Yeah. There goes the printer. Hello. Okay, so histamines. Hold. Now I'll restack in the adrenals and survival, because I want the body to recognise we're doing it all together. Interesting. So EMFs is actually worse than histamines. EMFs showed up survival switching, deep survival and hidden deep survival, whereas histamines only showed up deep survival and hidden deep survival. You know, just one less, but nonetheless just a little bit interesting. Okay, so now let's go clear that little survival. Okay. So this one again, it's the periventricular survival system, and it's all about your sensory system overload. So your taste buds, your smelling, your eyesight, your visuals, your nervous system just gets to that spot where it just doesn't want to see, hear, speak, you know, it doesn't want to do anything. Okay. So the first little part of the brain showing up is the anterior cingulate gyrus. And hold out. Pops your body into wanting to run away, escape, submission, freeze. And this is the part of your brain that picks on yourself when you're not perfect under stress. We're often our own worst enemies. So I'm also going to double check oxygen in that little part of the brain. Hold up for me. Yeah, not too bad. Hold, it's not dreadful, it's just not optimal. But yeah, the anterior cingulate gyrus is a part of the brain that sets up a lot of our obsessions and compulsions. But when it's giving us a hard time, it's really giving us a hard time. Hold. Okay, next little part of the brain is the orbitofrontal cortex. And hold out. Now this is the little part of the brain that's to do with conflict. So when we're trying to make a decision about something and we can't, or we make a decision and we double guess ourselves, or we have something in our life that we love and hate and we can't get rid of it and we cling to it, or you know, it's all about conflict. And this little part of the brain, when it's really being challenged, it's switching off your pleasure reward center. So your brain doesn't like conflict, but that also makes it hard to make a decision and move forward as well. Once again, check oxygen, hold, no, that's good. Okay, next area. Okay, next little area is the subclossal gyrus. Now, this is where we hit the ancestral genetic stuff. So those three parts of the brain, the anterior cingulate gyrus, orbitofrontal cortex, and subclossal gyrus, it's felt that there are up to 7 generations of how we cope with stress, anger, frustration stored in these three parts of the brain. And all three have shown up for you, and it's linking in with the amygdala to the pain and punishment circuit with this one, the subclossal gyrus. And this is the one with that whole spectrum that's so frustrating when we can't get it under control, because it's about the rage, anger side of things, but then that depression when you just want to hide away and not see the world. Can be suicidal, doesn't have to be. Okay. Okay, so this pattern seems to have come down through your father's line. It's not showing up feminine, it's showing up masculine, so father. And is it your father's mother, your father's father? And is it your father's father's mother, father's father's father? Father's 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 mother, father's 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 father. Yeah, right, the masculine side. Okay. Let's have a look and see whether there's a goal or an affirmation or something we need to start shimmying it the other way. We can do it through an Australian bush flower essence. Oh, okay, Boab. Boab is the one for family beliefs that we take on, that often no longer serve us, that we haven't even recognised as something that we take on from our family. That just doesn't suit us at all with the way we want to live. So the negatives of Boab are taking on negative family thought patterns and repetition of past negative experiences. So both of those are showing up through the masculine side of your family. The masculine, 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 masculine. So what this helps to do is release past negative actions within family, abuse, prejudice, release negative thought patterns, release deep held emotions, and it helps to engender positive personal growth. Because it's all the masculine, I'm sort of wondering even whether or not your dad wanted you to be a boy. Just a thought, might have nothing to do with anything. Yeah, right, it's 9 drops.
Wow, that's a
Big
big one.
dose. Okay. Shelby takes one for the team. Very good. Okay.
Sorry.
No, all good, all good. It's actually quite a simple affirmation that's showing up, so I might clear this one with psychological reversal at this point, since it's fairly important. I now release and clear all negative conditioning and family traits from my psyche. And hold. Okay, is there psychological reversal? Yes, there is. Want, need, think, safe, believe, deserve, trust. It's a deserve, so there's something about your energy family-wise that's making you feel like you deserve what you've got going on in life. So I deserve to let go of these problems. Hold. I deserve to keep these problems. And hold. Okay. Okay, what do we need to do? Okay, that's messing with the brow chakra. It's stopping you from seeing your way forward. So brow links in with the zygomatic bones and the pubic bone. And hold. And hold. Okay, it's second stage, which means your third eye is actually working really, really hard to try. So if you're doing something like meditation or visualization, that's the sort of thing that strengthens the third eye. But it's overworking. It's going to be draining something else, so we'll just give it a little bit of support anyway. And I'm sure you can see how you don't deserve to take on these family traits and family patterns that are negatively impacting on you. And obviously the good stuff in the family doesn't show up to be healed. So it doesn't mean the men in the family are awful or anything like that. It just means there's something coming down through the family line. So maybe it's something you can have a meditate on and see if you can find whatever you think that is. Beautiful. Okay, let's just double check. I deserve to let go of these problems. Hold. That's better. I deserve to keep these problems. Hold. Good. That should be an unlock. It should be unwanted by the body, so that's great. Okay, so back into our deep survival patterns, the histamine and EMFs. Okay. Yep, there's still something more. Yeah, right. The other thing about the periventricular survival system is it's an overloading of the nervous system and overloading of the sensory input. And your sixth sense is one of your sensory input. So when it gets overloaded, especially by being an empath, everything else just wants to shut down. Okay, orbitofrontal cortex, so once again, that's about the conflict. Hold. And everyone I know who's an empath, it's such a combination of such a gift and a challenge simultaneously. Yeah, so that conflict is coming from an old fear. So the fear usually comes from something that's happened in the past that we're fearful that it's going to happen again, but it's also switching off your pleasure reward centers. So once again, the conflict, brain just doesn't like it. Recheck oxygen in that little part of the brain, that's good. Okay. Reticular activating system showing up. So that's that little part of the brain that controls what hormones we release when something new happens in our world. And I think any electromagnetic sensitive people around the world are going to be feeling it the next year or so while the 5G's rolled out. And we're just going to have to get all sorts of protection devices up and running. Things like salt lamps and peace lilies, lots of plants, making sure we get salt water. Actually, it's funny, we've discovered near us there's a salt room that you can go to, and they send micronized salt in through the wall so that you're breathing in salt in a beautiful environment for an hour. It's very relaxing, very cooling, but salt releases, it's a negatively charged, salt's negatively charged, so it helps to kill viruses and cause bronchodilation and vasodilation, so it helps with blood pressure, it helps with lungs and skin and all sorts of things. There might be something like that near you. There's another reticular activating system circuit. Yeah. Okay, so this one, let me just ask, is it the EMFs or the histamines? So the EMFs more specifically, they affect your body and they make it harder for your gut to release serotonin. Because the EMFs attract histamine, and there's a huge amount of histamine in our gut, maybe the histamine's building up on the receptors that are supposed to create serotonin, because we make something like 90% of serotonin in our small intestines. Actually, one of them showed up with small intestines before, EMFs or histamine. Okay, little part of the brain, this one doesn't come up very much, it's called the periaqueductal grey matter. It's in the midbrain, so midbrain GV14. So when this little area gets activated, it gets our behavioural reactions of fight and flight going. So once again, we're within the EMF and histamine survival patterns. So these might be linking in with you feeling afraid to go outside, feeling angry, feeling frustrated, without recognising, of course, that it's an EMF and histamine response that's messing with your moods and messing with your ability to be out there having fun in the world. So that first circuit with the periaqueductal grey matter was wanting to run away, so escape, submission, freeze. Okay, RAS is showing up again, but this time it's to do with the muscles in the body, so this will be linking in with your pain. Can I just get you to tighten, say, from your hips to your feet first? So tight, 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 and relax. And now your arms, fingers, and relax. Your midsection, tight, 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 and relax. Neck, shoulders, and relax. Same combination again. So the low levels of serotonin, the low levels of serotonin and the high levels of noradrenaline, so the assumption of long-term stress, working as an antidepressant. So with the low serotonin, it's hard for your brain just to relax and have fun and feel safe and calm. A little nervous system. Beautiful. Okay. So once again, in relation to EMFs, so I think of the survival stuff. We've taken another layer off. Good. And in relation to histamines. Okay. So survival, deep survival, hidden deep survival, clear in relation to EMFs and histamines. Now let's ask again which organs are still needing some work after calming down those survival patterns. Yeah, so the brain, hold up. So both of them can build up in the brain, and both EMFs and histamines are definitely linked in with any of our anxiety, depression, mood swings, anger. And hold out. And you see it with kids these days with all the screen time they get. And it's like they get addicted to it, don't want to be away from it. Yeah, so funny, with the brain, the amygdala pattern associated with the brain being shut down there was the combination of rage, anger, frustration, and switching your pleasure reward centers off. So when you're not feeling happy and relaxed with lots of serotonin, dopamine being released, then it can be a go-to to get angry and frustrated. Oh, kidneys. Yeah, because histamine, it's an amino acid, it's a neurotransmitter, it does a lot of stuff. Kidney energy is showing up, so it might even be that the EMFs and histamines are really dehydrating you, so making sure you get in enough purified water, lemon juice in water, sort of trying to make sure you keep them up and running. So your kidneys, hold up for me. And hold. Not too bad. I've got a sentence here next to my EMF thing that I'd forgotten about. There's been research done for over 20 years that EMFs at frequencies commonly found in most homes can reactivate Epstein-Barr viruses and cause people to have symptoms, specifically weakening the blood-brain barrier. So there's a stack of evidence saying that EMFs can severely damage your blood-brain barrier. So therefore, toxins and viruses can easily get into your brain.